Hey guys, how you going? Hope you're all doing very well. Tonight I'm going to be doing a review of an independent horror film from the United States of America, English language, released in the year 2009, directed by Stacey Davidson, and this film is called Sweatshop. And the story of Sweatshop is as follows. Charlie's rave parties are crazy, and tonight's rave will be her most extreme yet. Her oversexed friends throw back the drinks and start setting up, unaware that they're being watched by a sinister being lurking deep within the shadows of the huge warehouse. With their attention diverted from the party and into each other's bodies, they begin to disappear into the night. With the music blaring, no one can hear their frenzied cries of passion and terror. Little do they realize a beastly presence resides in the place, dragging a mammoth, inhuman weapon that serves only as one purpose, to kill all who trespass there. Charlie hoped tonight's party would be the best ever. Will it be her last? So the movie opens up with five friends who arrive at an abandoned warehouse to set up for a rave party. Now, Charlie, the main character, she is well known for her extreme parties, and this is supposed to be the best one yet. So a lot of anticipation and expectation is resting on Charlie's shoulders. So she invited her friends to get to the location very early in order to set up. So she is very soon frustrated when she realizes that her friends are more interested in drinking and basically flirting with one another. So they're getting distracted and the preparation is not going so well. But very soon Charlie's frustration turns into terror when they realize that the location of their party is home to a psychopath, a mammoth individual who has a massive weapon, and he does not appreciate trespassers, and he deals with trespassers in the worst possible way. So what started off as a night that promised a lot of fun turns into a bloody fight for survival as each of these friends is being picked off one by one. So who survives this ordeal? That's something you're going to have to find out for yourself, because that's as far as I'm going with the synopsis. Now my thoughts on the film. If you want a movie that's going to make you want to scratch your head at the end of it thinking, that was deeply thought-provoking, that was a movie that disturbed me beyond belief, and it's a movie that I'm not going to be able to forget for a very long time, this is definitely not the movie for you. But if you want a movie that is going to make you think to yourself, wow, that was absolutely awesome, then this movie is worth the risk, because I actually found myself thinking that was awesome on more than one occasion. Now, I don't subscribe to all the negativity that this film has. Now, yes, I will agree. The acting is absolutely deplorable. The characters are very, very cardboard cutout. The storyline is very, very simplistic, and the dialogue is horrendous. So all of that should add up to a very bad experience, but I actually felt that the negatives to the film both worked as positives, because the movie doesn't take itself seriously. It is not trying to be anything that it isn't, and what it is a gore film. I actually felt that the lack of character development meant a lack of sympathy, a lack of connection with the characters. But in the end, it actually worked in its favour, because when the carnage starts happening and these friends start to get picked off, it just adds a whole new level of satisfaction, and you really start supporting the villains in the film. So it's one of those movies that you really have to leave your brain at the door, otherwise you're really not going to enjoy it. I went into it with the right expectations, thankfully. Now, if I had known nothing about the movie, I wouldn't have enjoyed it as much as I actually did, because I would have been expecting something of a little bit more of a higher quality. Now, as I said, the acting was bad, the cast were very young, but thankfully it didn't require Oscar performances. The script was very bad, so they really didn't have too much to thrive off. But it is a movie, as I said, about the gore, and when the gore happens, it is absolutely phenomenal. And as soon as the carnage starts happening, as soon as the body count starts stacking up on top of each other, you forget all the negatives. Well, that's for me anyway. And I just had such a ball watching it, and I actually felt that it is an underrated slasher film. Now, I'm not a fan of the subgenre of slashers, but I'm starting to get into it a little bit more, and this is amongst one of my favourite modern slasher films. Now, the actual way that it was shot was not very cheap at all. I actually thought I really liked the way that it was shot. It was very seedy. The characters were very punky, and there was a lot of flirting and very dirty, sort of seedy sexual content in it. And then the gore was really in your face and very hard to watch. Now, as far as brutality is concerned, this one is right up there with the best of them. I was really surprised at just how brutal the film was. This contains some of the most phenomenal kills you will ever see. I was shocked to see what actually happens and how this guy actually uses his hammer. This is one of the most cold-blooded villains you'll ever see. I feel it's one of my favourite villains in any movie. Very simplistic sort of character. You don't go into any detail with the character of the villain, which a lot of people didn't like, but I actually felt it wasn't necessary because, as I said, it is not a character-driven film. It is a movie that relies on its gore, and thankfully in that department it really does deliver. Now, I don't know who was responsible for the gore, but it shows that this guy is absolutely expert quality. The ending was absolutely fantastic. I actually thought it was funny, and it was a really brutal way to end what was a very memorable journey into the world of brutality. So there is a lot of torture. I wouldn't call it torture porn. It is very much over the top, but it is a fun film, and it is a film I'm definitely recommending. So I'm giving it 3 stars. I know a lot of people might be surprised by this because a lot of people seem to hate it, but it does have its negatives, but I actually felt that those negatives also worked in its favour. So I enjoyed it. I'm giving it 3 stars. Definitely go out there and see it, especially if you're a fan of brutal films, because the brutality in this movie is second to none. Absolutely, very, very gory, and don't believe all the negativity that surrounds it. You're going to have to be your own judge, because if you're like me, you'll be pleasantly surprised. So 3 stars for the American horror film Sweatshop. Definitely recommended as far as this subgenre of slashers is concerned. Alright guys, that's my review. I hope you enjoyed it. Till next time, keep watching movies, and I'll see you later.